please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, you guys. It is your boy, Mr. Zach. And like I said, we are back. We are back again. I know y'all missed me. I know I've been gone for a while now, but I am here. I am here. You can see all the applause and later on. This is Royal Mike, man. It has been amazing for the past few months. Man, I had phenomenal year. Um, I celebrated my birthday since December. December 6th, went to Charlotte, had some true turn up moments. Um, in January, I won. Matter of fact, it wasn't in January. In February, I won Prince of Tulsa Bright Pride. I have been, been booking busy, with poetry, having, working on a different network, the Black Canvas, working on another network called the Vibe Channel, and we back with Roy Mike. It has been so phenomenal to be back with y'all. Um, the love, the support I keeps getting for me to subscribe every single day to keep pushing, like they said, chasing my dreams. You want to do that. But nevertheless, we are going to get into the topic. Oh, let me introduce you. My bad. See, my bad. See, I got caught up. My name is Mr. Zachery Williams, stage name is Zach Attack, and this is the Royal Mike. So basically, let me give you a little background about Royal, right? So Royal Mike is all about, expressing your feelings, come on, say what you want to say. Ain't no hard feelings. It is no hard feelings at the end of the day. We are here to have a conversation and an honest conversation. This is why I created the Royal Mike. It's like you got the mic, say what you wanted to say. So tonight conversation is going to be really good. The topic conversation is today: are men too sensitive, or didn't men just stop lying? I'm gonna say it again: are men are too sensitive, or did men are just lying? Stop lying. So this afternoon, I do not want to rush this conversation. I don't want to sound too perfect. I don't want to sound like I figure everything out. I just want to be honest because this is one of those topics that everybody has opinion, but not everybody really sits with it, the truth. Everywhere I go, social media, real life, conversation, going to the barber shop, we talk about relationship, we talk about, men, we talk about females, we talk about a whole lot of things. But I keep hearing the same thing over and over and over again. Men are too soft now. Men are too emotional now. Men are not where it used to be. And I have to sit with that. Not just to hear, but really ask myself, why do actually people say that down these days? What do they mean that men are too emotional, too sensitive? Are we finally telling the truth? Are we just stepping into a new era? Like men are really feeling themselves? Because when people said men is different back then than now, what does it really mean? When men were quiet, the men didn't have a example of themselves, the men didn't open up, the men didn't sit down and say, I'm hurt, I feel okay, I need help, because something quite didn't mean it all there. And a part I feel like people are skipping over is you have to ask the real questions. Are men actually being too sensitive? Or men are finally telling the truth, how they've been feeling the whole time? And I'm not talking about just the one typical men. I'm talking about all men. That means the straight men's, the gay men's, the bisexual men's, the masculine men's, the soft-spoken men's, the men's who fit the image that is expect to be men's, and men's who don't know how to stress their feelings. No matter what is the category you fall into, at the end of the day, you are still human and you are still hurt and you are always here to express your feelings. So I want you to just sit with me, right? I just want you to sit with me. I want to take it back, the men's from the 70s and 90s. I want us to go back in that time frame. Yes, I was not in the time frame, but I feel like I have a lot of experience, you know, having different men come out my life. And I have a dad, I have an uncle, I have a grandfather. I have cousins who was in those eras. So let's picture it. The 70s and 80s, a time where men who raised environment didn't know to leave a lot of room of emotional expressions. My bad. You didn't being asked how you feel. Nobody asked you to sit down and talk to me. Instead, you was giving responsibilities early, pressure early, and exposed to things that they don't talk about early. You were taught that being a man means to carry everything in and holding everything together. You don't want to fall apart, or you don't want to be open how you really feel. They told you to keep everything in private. You know, Back then my understanding was, what stays in the dark stays in the dark. What happened into the household, sweep it under the rug. You do not need to carry it as men's. You know, in that back days, the mindset did it was pressing down. Like what I mean by like men's was definitely, you know, I feel like it was like I would have said miserable. I wouldn't say miserable. I would depressed, angry, suicide. Like those dots when you get into the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Nobody didn't believe in therapy. Nobody believed in getting help from what my belief is. This is just my belief and my opinion. I'm gonna say that it's my opinion. You have to keep everything in private where nobody can see. And the mindset didn't just come from anywhere. It was passed down. Father passed it down to son. Communication was reinforced and culture was protected. Especially in the black community, the mindset was tied to survival. And a lot of men didn't have a space to be soft, open, express, because life was already heavy back then. And some emotional becomes something that you push aside throughout the day. But I want to slow this down right now because it's very important. Just because a man doesn't speak about the emotion doesn't mean he don't have them. Everybody feels the same way when it comes to men. I don't care how you say, everybody feels the same way. Especially now these days, men are being very spoken. Men are being going to therapy. Men are sitting down with other men and talk about, hey, it's okay to cry. It's okay to show emotions. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay not to hold it in. You know, because back then they had a lot to carry. Being a man of the house, providing for their family. They couldn't be like females back in the day, staying home, cooking and cleaning, or, taking care of the kids, making sure that the food is cooked, making sure that, the household is taken care of. Now these days, it's burst. It's all over. Everybody is feeling a title. Everybody is a title, to their emotions. Everybody is entitled to their emotions. They feel like they're falling apart without support. They feel like they don't have a love to express their feeling. Even when what comes down to like with me growing up, because I feel like I had a hard time, expressing my feelings growing up, especially when I was born, in the late '90s. I would say in the late '90s. Um, Having those men in my life and see that they struggle to talk about their feelings, to show they feeling that was a hard thing to do. And then it got passed down to me. Like I didn't know how to express my feelings. I was like frustrated. I was angry. I was doing things that I'm supposed to be doing. I was acting out. And that's a disconnect we have. Not now, but back then. You know, back then was kind of a little hard for them. They didn't have the outlet. They didn't have, you know, therapy. They didn't have let's go to the barbershop, let's talk about feelings. They didn't have like group group conversation like we got now. They didn't have that back then. I know my grandfather, he had to wake up, 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, walk down this long road and to make sure he catch that bus. Back then a lot of money didn't wasn't it was a lot back then now. A dollar was a lot back then. I could say that my grandfather said like bread was a lot cheaper. Like it was like 50 cents, not any days, but that's on here or there. But I know that he been frustrated. I know that sometimes he don't bring enough home, like enough money to bring home. Now, mind you, my grandparents they had about 9 kids, and in that 9 kids, you have to feed each one of them. One of them couldn't go hungry, and having that frustration, you got to provide for your family. You just can't bring nothing home, especially when you have one person working and one taking care of the household. It's not two taking care of it, and it's still not. But it was hard. I can't imagine being back there. Imagine being back there and to see a lot of people struggle. Back then, I cannot see that. How did they handle their emotions? You know, like how did they deal with depression? How did they deal with suicide thought? Like how did they deal with having addiction? A lot of people, like how did they felt back then? And even when having a wife, like how did the conversation goes between man and wife back then? I can't imagine a man coming home and be like, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing this, I didn't feel like going to work, I don't feel like I'm good enough for you. I can't imagine how like couples back then really had a conversation. From my point of view, it was like you gotta suck it up. You gotta go out there. You got a family, family and I, family of five. Back then they had really big families, and just to have that on a man's back, that is a lot. I'm talking of, if your kids acting out, if your kids have a disability, like my financial struggles, death, do like I can't imagine it. And I feel like when men back then, I feel like they were sitting in the room by themselves. Sometimes men even drink to express their feelings, oppress their feelings. I mean, and 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 they had an outlet. And I'm telling you, I have seen it. I know y'all know somebody who was born in the 70s, the 80s, and 90s who felt like that. And I sit here, I think about my family. I think a lot of men, they went into, drinking, smoking weed, doing cocaine, doing heroin, like to suppress their feeling because they didn't know how to talk about it. And that's a problem. And we're gonna talk about how it's a problem as today it is. It's not a problem as today. It just I feel like men are very too sensitive today. But again, that's just my opinion. But a lot of men love deeply because they didn't know how to show it in any way, how to feel. Like created a disconnect. Because you can provide, you can be present, you can even try, but if your emotional is not connected there, you feel something is missing. Like, sit for a second. Like, I want you to sit for a second. A lot of people have listened, a lot of people listen to how to express this. You've been around someone you love, and you got the feeling. You've been around somebody who show up, but still feel alone. Like, not everybody's gonna care back then. Sometimes they didn't know how to. They didn't know how to, tell you it's gonna be okay. They didn't know how to be like. They didn't know how to put this to react to that. Like I said, it had been passed down to generation. And when you grow up around that, and when you started to normalize it, this how men are. Men don't talk. Men don't express their feeling. Men don't explain. So, so what happened now? Would you repeat the same thing or go against it? Because some men grew up and being the same thing. Quiet, closed, hard to react. Because that's all they know how to show back then. It's hard to tell somebody back then, I love you. Especially when you are talking to your sons. A father and son relationship is very important. Because, your father is teaching you how to be a man. You know, it taught you, how to go to the bathroom, how to treat females, how to, make money, how to provide. Back then, that was it. It wasn't I love you. It wasn't like having these emotional conversation. It's about toughing up and getting with the program. It's normalized. But other men is going to the opposite direction now these days. It's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm trying to open up more. I want to express myself. I want to be more emotional. And we sit here complaining that men are too soft. And we sit here and men are too sensitive. Men are too emotional. I was told, and the fact that anybody knows me, I'm gay. I'm very, express my feels a lot. I say what's on my mind. I come off trying to, how would I say this? I come off trying to make sure I'm saying the right words, having the right intention. Sometimes I don't care. I would say sometimes I don't care, but I wanted to go against the odds. Now, like I said earlier, and if you have been rocking with me on, Justice Watch broadcast, if you have been rocking me with Black Canvas, you have been rocking me while I'm hitting on the stage when I'm doing poetry. And if you have been rocking me last year on Royal Might, I'm really expressing my feelings. I will really be getting towards the odds. Because why not? Why not sit here? Why not have these conversations? Somebody need to know about it. Do I have all the experience to talk about it? No. But I can talk about mine. I can talk about how I was. I can talk about, I broke the cycle, you know, and I thank God for making me who I am as a person, and evolving me into a man as I am today. Um, I just had a funny moment just then. Um, like I didn't know. Well, I kind of know my dad's dad, and I see why my dad is built back then, and now he's more softer now these days. But having a father, like I said, having a father and son relationship is very important. You know, we always want to, express our goals, our accomplishment to our fathers. You want us to show that we are doing, we are not following your footsteps, but we are being better than you. And my dad always tell me, I want you to always do better than me. And I always tell people who always come under me, especially generation now, do better than me. Do provide more better than me. Don't follow what I do, because it takes me a long time to get here, and expressing feelings and being a gay black male, it's very hard. You know, being gay is number one. It's the hardest. On top of that, me being black and me being big, that on top of it, that's a lot of layers that I carry. And it's a lot of emotional mindset you have to live in my community, to live in all of this. But I'm telling you now, it will be okay. It will be okay, because we are at a safe space. I feel like I created Royal Mike as a safe space for me, and those who people who like me, those people who listen to me. You might not agree what I say, you might not like what I say, but you get something out of it, you know. And I want somebody to get something out of this today, because it is okay to be emotional. It is okay to show your feelings. It is okay to be feminine. It's okay. You the you the I can't get. But if you that number one person in the room, if you get what I'm saying, then be that. Nobody's stopping you from being who you are. Especially men out here. They just now expressing their feelings more and more. Now, can I say that some men are doing too much? Manipulations? Yeah, they are. Some of them are being too sensitive and taking everything to heart. Like, like they don't listen, then reacted. They don't think before speaking. Yes. Men's are being more as like want to be in a female role. Cool. Have no problem. If you feel like you want to do that, go ahead. If you are a traditional man, be a traditional man. If you do not want to be who you are. That's not with everybody. And before I move into my next subject, I want you to ask this question for you. Have you ever felt love and felt alone? What does it feel to grow up without emotional guidance? Do we repeat what we saw, or do we try to fix it? And yeah, I agree with you on what she said on that. It is. It I it is. It is not to me to be emotional today. It's not. It is the question. It's not to be like. But are we? Here's my attention to that. Here's my attention when I said that. Are we intentionally doing to please other people, or we just act on what we saw? Like it's nothing wrong with being too emotional, but are we listening what people are saying? Especially when it comes down to a people who really matters to us. You know, sometimes we could be a pain in the ass. Sometimes, yes, we can be. We have our ego, especially with men. Men have a big ego than female. I'm gonna have to say it. Men have a bigger ego than females, and our ego gets so big, and it blow out a balloon, and everything getting emotional. And now these days, I'll say this: this generation we live in here is very too sensitive. And why I say that, because they do not know how to express their feelings in a way that they should be expressing. Now, my generation, we went to therapy. You know, we didn't put everything under the rug. We bring everything to light. In this generation, they pick up a gun. They shoot. They don't like have a conversation. Now, do I agree with violence? Each his own. Each his own. Do I believe a life for life? Nope. Mm, cases by cases. I would say that cases by cases. But nobody should die anyway. Like be honest with you, I'll take that back. I'll take that back. Life for life doesn't. No. No. You should not pick up a gun and you somebody like curse you out or somebody made you miserable. Like sometimes just walk away. I will say that just walk away. Cause I'm telling you, behind closed doors, behind the bars, what's freedom? And that's from my grandma. That's from my dad. I'm telling you, I know a lot of people who've been behind prison. That I'm telling you, I love my freedom and I love my life. But let's let's get into it. But I want just to ask those questions. And the same thing I said today, men's today. So let's talk about men's today. You know, because this conversation starts to get uncomfortable. You know, men are more open up more. Men are talking about therapy, talking about trauma. Men are talking about, you know, their feeling, identity, and healing. Things that they never knew before. Like, some people are looking for growth. Others are looking for the weakness. And when it tends to be why that people say men are too soft. And it gets to the point when men are too soft. You know, but let me slow it down. Let me ask the real question to the men out there. And men are finally saying, you know, I'm hurt, I'm struggling, and I don't feel okay. A facts, fact. I'm exactly. I'm taking the words out of my mouth. But men are really asking now these days, I'm hurt, I'm struggling, and I don't feel okay. Does that make them weak? Does that make him honest? Because honesty feels uncomfortable when you used to be silent. Now, I think the way we're saying it now, it is not to softness. It's not the softness, but being visible. And what I mean by that, they are being seen. Back then it was visible, now they're being seen. That's what I say by that. When we are seeing things that are not always just not being spoken. You know, I'm gonna be real, just because where the battles need to matter. Everybody is labeled vulnerability is growth. Not everything is labeled vulnerability being growth. Some men use emotional to avoid responsibilities. Some men said, this is how I feel, but don't take accountability of what they're trying to do. And it frustrates people. It does. You know, we get to the point of men, we get to the point of we don't know how to take accountability. We don't. And it goes to the same thing to females. Hey, I'm not knocking them down, but I'm talking to the men. We don't know how to take accountability. And yes, it's okay to express your feelings, but also, men, when you are wrong, like I said, men got this big ego and get uncomfortable in this big balloon, and they don't like to admit when they are wrong, and that's the problem. You know, not only do you have a two conversation happen at the same time. One side that men need to open up more, the other side men need to toughen up again. We are definitely having this conversation now. Where is the in between? Because truth is, both sides are missing something. Because the real answer is not one or the other. The real answer is balance. Men need to learn how to feel but still be a leader. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to to talk to somebody. It's okay to be like, hey, to a female. Even some guys talk to guys, and I know I talk to my other half. We talk about our feelings. We check into each other. It's very important that you get checked up. It's very important, and sometimes you don't even have to have a conversation to other people. You just need to check in on yourself. Like every morning when you wake up, I feel like everybody should, you know, yeah. See, we gonna get into that. We gonna get into a relationship, healthy relationship. Um, because it's very important that we still take accountability. It's very important that we check on each other. It's very important to check in on yourself in general. Like waking up in the morning and be like, "Hey, how did I feel yesterday?" Like I feel like every person should said a quote to themselves, something to make sure they hear mentally. Cause sometimes we be having rough days. Sometimes our coworkers be pissing us off. Sometimes our boss be pissing us. Sometimes our friends be pissing us. Sometimes the world we live in will piss us off. Like we always on edge. And with this administration, we are definitely always on edge. But that's not here the point I want to talk about. It's okay to check in on yourself. You don't have to have nobody else connection. Sometimes everybody don't need a therapist. Sometimes therapy is sometimes is a scam. I mean, if you want me to sit here and talk to you, be like, so I'm gonna repeat the same thing back to you. Sometimes you are your own therapy. Sometimes you just waste your money because you just wanted somebody to hear you out, and it's okay to do that if you need help for it. Sometimes your friend could be your therapist. I don't go. I used to go to therapy, but I don't go to therapy anymore because I check in myself. I make sure that I'm giving myself 100% every single day. Now, if I feel like I'm going sideways, feel like the person's anxiety is taking over, then I have a check in with my therapist. My therapist probably don't even see me probably about 2 years, probably, just to check in. Be like, yeah, yeah, I'm good. Anything you talk about? No. And sometimes I don't even waste my money. Yeah, everybody going through something. Yeah, everybody have a struggle. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's why I said at the beginning. It's my opinion versus yours. And we can find middle ground. Like I said, you don't have to agree what I'm saying, but sometimes you listen to me and like, oh, I see you get the saying. So I want to ask you this question again. Men of the days need to find that balance. Need to find that balance and to take accountability. And also be honest. Are men weaker than are just being more honest? If vulnerability is uncomfortable for people to see, where does accountability fit into emotional? Are we willing to grow through our emotions? Where is the balance when it comes down to men? I want you to ask those questions because every time I want you to ask the question to yourself. And it goes the same thing with females. Are you being a better person as you was yesterday? I'm not a female. I'm not a female. I don't know how females feel. I don't get that I am a male at the end of the day. I am a girl. Male at the end of the day. And I love it. But and it goes to our next conversation. Relationships and expectations. Now, what comes down to relationship is where everything shows up. A lot of people say men don't communicate. But let me ask you this. Do men not communicate, or do they communicate differently? Because if men was to never taught how to be emotional, if men was never taught emotional language, how are he supposed to act on it? On top of that, how do you expect the men to have a safe space? Because being strong, but being emotional, being a leader, but not in control, being vulnerable don't need to be weak. Because all that comes up in a relationship. Not confusing, let's not confuse being leader to be frustration. It's on both sides. Because now the men feel like no matter what I do, it's not enough. And I think that way everybody. I think that way everybody going through. No matter what I do, it's not enough. Especially nowadays with these females. And I could be wrong. It's the same with the guys. It's the same with the guys when you're dating the same sex. It's the same thing. Are you making enough money? What are you providing? How's your emotional stability? Where's your mindset? What is your plans for 5 years from now? Like, that is a lot to deal with. Especially when you don't have no plans. Especially when you get to know somebody. Because 90 days, females want men to make a lot of money. And sometimes men are being okay that females are making more than them. Some are just too lazy to get a job. Because they are very capable of what they wanted to do. They just feel lazy, too comfortable. Sometimes y'all females makes guys feel not manly. and taking care of the masculinity. It's okay to be the breadwinner in the household. Not every man wants that. Every man wants to be the breadwinner. Every man want to be a chief in their house. Every man wants to feel. I can't say every man. Some men. I'm gonna take that back. Some men wants to feel important to their egos, to their emotions. Some traditional man wants to be that. Some traditional men do not want their woman to work, to take care of the household. Some men want their woman to work, to bring in the income. Now these days, you gonna need 2 incomes. I'm just saying. You gonna need 2 incomes. But now these days, men are not taking care of their responsibilities. They are having kids. And kids after kids and after kids after kids, they're not taking care of them. They're not taking care of them. And wonder why we have a low percentage of fathers being in some life. And now, granted, I will give the men this. You have other men stepping up into father roles, being stepfathers, being role models, being leaders, having these mental program, having these what's the word I'm looking for? what's the word I'm looking for? Big brother programs to have these rules. Cause I feel like kids nowadays they lost in the sauce. They don't know how to express their feelings. They don't know how to have conversations. It's always grab a weapon. And I understand it's frustrated. I understand it's I don't want to say nuanced. It's more normalized nowadays. It is. We have normalized it now. We have normalized, mothers are better than their son, their father is better than their daughter. It has been normalized that our kids out here and not getting a degree. We have normalized that kids are not even finishing college. We have normalized our kicking our kids out of the house way too early. We have normalized that once you're 18, you are an adult. No, they're not. Yeah, legal they are, but their still mind still develop. They still need guidance. After age 18, they still need guidance, especially in their 20s. In their 20s is most of the important process of life. You are going to make mistakes. And some of these men are lost in the sauce. And some of these men are having kids way too early. Even not even have the mindset of how to raise a kid, how to take children, how to change a pamper, how to make a bottle. What do they do when the babies cry? What do you do when the baby's sick? They don't know how to do that. And that's very normalized now these days. We have normalized certain things. We have normalized this is what a relationship looks like. We have normalized that we just gonna be in the first day, these one night stand, we gonna call it a day. And sometimes females are okay with that. Sometimes females just want a baby and not a husband. A baby daddy, not a husband. Nowadays, people get married and actually 2 days later, 2 years in the relationship, they got divorced. A lot of people don't know what a relationship looks like. We have sex with A, B, C, and D, and be fine with it, and we don't know who our baby daddy is, or we don't know where my child at when somebody asks them. You don't even know how old your kid is. You don't even know your kid's birthday, and that's a problem. We don't even know how to have a communication. We don't even know how to shut up and listen sometimes. And that's a relationship on these days. We make it normalized. And why I'm using this word frequently, because you see all over. We see it on social media. We see it on Netflix, HBO, Hulu. We see it. We see it in the person who's next to us. You see it in our kids. You sometimes kids see in their parents who dating older. That's how it is. We normalize it. And is it wrong to say that how we feel 90 days now? It is what it is. But I'm telling you, having a healthy relationship, let me tell you, communication is very important. And not to be heard, but to listen to what they're saying and act it on it. I'm not saying that everybody's perfect. I can't say I'm perfect because it took me a long time where we at today. I'm in almost a 5-year relationship. Like, and be honest how you feel. Like, let's say to your dude or to your female, like, hey, I don't have 100% today. I don't have all of it today. My mind is frustrated. My heart hurt. I'm not here today, and it's okay to say that. And And if that partner of yours don't understand that, then you in the wrong position. Then that's not for you. Don't settle for nothing less that you know you are worthy for. I think it speaks now these days, like even with marriage, like we have these big weddings, we have these fam coming over, we have the destination wedding, and sometimes we don't even go, we don't even fix the problems that we have in a relationship. We just cover up because it looks good. It looks good to get everybody to get married. It looks good to have a ring on the finger. Oh, that's a big rock. But nobody's take the time to get to know somebody. You don't even know your partner's favorite color. You don't even know what their, turn off and turn on. You don't even know their mother and father. You don't even know their past. You don't even know where they come from. You don't even know what their breaking point is. You do not know. And that's the hard thing about it. We get into a relationship to please other people. We get in a relationship like, oh, I got a man now. I got a female now. Yeah, we don't get to that. And it's okay. It's okay if you want to do that. A lot of people out there are fine with it. A lot of people are fine with having open relationship. Not me. But a lot of people are fine with that. But you have to be honest. But also you have to give the partner a choice if they want that. But also you have to give your partner if they want to listen. Because communication is all about, I'm telling you, communicate, communicate, communicate. And don't overshadow their feelings either. Don't shut their feelings down. Especially when a man is talking to you, how they tell you how they feel. Don't do that. That's the most disrespectful thing ever. Cause I feel like men's we come so far as not being shut down. We come so far of of what a man is, and and really nobody have a definition what is a man is, how a man supposed to act. Everybody have their different definitions. Some are the same. Nobody have a clear. There's not a clear definition that this means this. Even with females, you don't even know how to be a lady. What's the definition of being a lady? Classy. Some people be ratchet. Some just miserable. Some of them very emotional. Like what's the being a woman? What's the being a lady? What's the being a man? What's the being a boy? Like there's no definition of these things. These are all on feelings. Traditional from the Bible. To be honest with you, there isn't no there isn't no definition for these things. And and I want to just bring it back is to my queer people out there, especially those who are men's. Right now we are doing too much. We are really doing too much, especially for my black gay men's. We are really doing too much. To my queer black women, whatever you want to call yourself, we doing too much. We need to calm down. And those who get it. And to my straight guys, be okay, be comfortable who you are. It's okay if you have a gay friend. It's all gay people is not hitting on you. You know. And I think and that goes with emotionals too. Cause you're not comfortable who you are. You think it's like having somebody who doesn't have the same belief as you, or who love the same sex as you. Y'all can't be cool. Now I can say that everybody's intentions don't have a good intentions. I can say that. I feel like we all met somebody who went through that. Who really went through that. And And there's nothing wrong being soft. There's nothing wrong being who. There's nothing wrong for being who you are. And let kids be kids. And let kids be kids. It's way too much of kids not being kids. And it goes back what I say all the time. People need outlet. People just need to talk to somebody. Even checking in yourself. Check with your family member, somebody. Because it's really is okay. And yes, I'm going to leave you with this. And yes, the conversation might not be this long as I usually be it. But I want to leave you with this. Because it's very important. You know, men are expressing themselves. And it's okay. So maybe men are too sensitive. Maybe we just need time. Where men don't have to lie anymore. Not lying about how they feel. Not lying about what they're dealing with. Not lying about who they are. Because maybe feeling uncomfortable is new. Doesn't mean it means to be wrong. Doesn't mean that the goal is to go back for being, traditional men and not speaking your feeling. The goal is to move forward and how we look at that. Because men can still feel and be a leader. Men can still be strong and still be honest. Men can have a safe space. We just have to allow them to have a safe space. Because I know there's somebody out there whose mental is messed up. Who don't know how to show their feelings. Who don't know how to out it. And just pick it up again and just don't shooting everybody. That's not okay. Talk to somebody. Talk to your friend, family, school counselor, something. Check in on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are important as the next person who's next to you. And I'm going to say again, you are important to the next person who's next to you. And that's real. And be who you are, what you meant to be. And stop lying out here and take accountability. Stop caring about the next person who said, because at the end of the day, sometimes everybody's not going to have a good intentions. Who you talking to? Tell you, don't miss out your opportunity to growth. Vulnerability is normalized. That's normalized even more. Hey, go check up your husband and see he's okay. His mental health is okay. Go check out your boyfriend and see he's okay. Instead of sitting here like he ain't doing too much or he ain't talking to me now, go check on him. Go check on your son to see he's okay. Go check on your daughter. Go check on your father, see if he's okay. You gotta do more check-ins. Go check on your cousin. Why he been missing so long? What happened? Figure that out. So we sitting here judging. And that's what I'm gonna leave y'all today. Like I said, you might not agree with me what I said the whole entire night. But I hope you got something. At least a little bit. Maybe just me being good for me. Just being here. Just making up your day. Maybe just you want to see my face and I know I'm cute, right? But I hope you got something out of this. Because this is what Royal Mike is all about. Having a space for everybody. Having a safe space for everybody. That comes down to whatever you want to classify yourself with. This is meant to be your safe space. And I'm here to drive the conversation. Not record to here to learn, to listen, to understand. To people who don't understand. That was Royal Mike. Any platform I have. And that's what I'm in with. And I'm telling you, like I said, I am Prince of Charleston Black Pride. I do have an event coming up on July 25th. Buy your tickets. Tickets are $25. The the door is $30, and it's gonna be live and real cool. We poetry in the building, poetry, and next month it's National Poetry Month. It is. Write it down. And that's the thing is I forgot to say, write it down. If you can't talk about it, write it down. And you don't have to show nobody. You can burn it, and that's what I forgot. Write it down. Sometimes express your feelings. Do a painting. Go out. Do a hobby. And there's so much things you could do express your feelings, especially men's. Don't don't sit in. Don't. And like I said, get your ticket. Hit me up. Social media right there. Zach Attack 96. Instagram. Booking busy always. You need me to talk to somebody. You need me to reach out to me. Go ahead. Hit me up. Now you need me to host stuff for that. We can talk about it. Tell you, I manifest what I say out here. I'm here to do the work. I'm here to get me out of here. So, like I said, it's your boy Mike. It's Mr. Zach. And I want y'all to have a great night. And I'll see y'all next time on the third Thursday of next month. And you do not want to miss Black Canvas. I have Regina sitting down with us, man, on Beverly Nation. And we do have something else calling. We're coming back up with Just the Half broadcast. So you can see me, hear me, and get the exclusive outside of this. I love y'all, and y'all have a great night. Thank you.